parking lot now filled with cars, kids, and families enjoying a fun evening at Urban Air, a trampoline park, was a different scene Friday night. Police say a man named Timothy Wilks and a friend did a prank robbery, running at a group with a butcher knife. That's when one in the group shot Wilks, unaware that it was fake. Police say it was being filmed as part of a YouTube video and that no charges are being filed right now. People living nearby said they heard the whole thing.
I was in my room, right? So I was eating, and I dropped my burger. So much shots.
Now, about that friend that police mentioned, I reached out to police to see if that unnamed person will be facing charges. I haven't heard back yet, but a lawyer I spoke to says this video could mean legal trouble for that friend.
I'm sure that the people involved in this would like to characterize it as a prank, but it certainly seems to be a prank that went seriously awry.
Prank videos are popular on YouTube, but the difference between a monetized channel or a reality show versus just two citizens pulling pranks is an extra level of protection. Insurance to protect against pranks gone wrong. Copycat citizens wouldn't necessarily have that. As for YouTube, Harvey says the company itself isn't in legal trouble, but they do crack down on videos that promote harm or illegal acts. As for what happened here Friday, Urban Air and the businesses next door didn't comment on what happened, but the neighbors who live nearby,
I was like, dang, that's crazy,
say it's beyond them why this happened.
New tonight, a professor at the University of Tennessee will keep her job after students called for her termination. A viral tweet showed the Africana Studies professor using a racial slur written on the board as part of her lesson. As Fox 17 News' Jackie Del Pilar tells us, students are not happy with the university's response.
11 organizations on campus came together, including the Student Government Association and the local NAACP chapter, to put out this statement saying that this is unacceptable and traumatic. They're calling on the university to terminate the professor involved, but the university says they're using this as a teachable moment.
Thousands of people sharing this photo on social media showing a racial slur written on the board in a University of Tennessee classroom. Students now calling for immediate consequences for the teacher involved.
When you're dealing with racism, you have to spot it and you have to get it out.
Carmen Jones is student body president and helped craft the letter from student leaders. The letter starts by saying racism is a UTK tradition and asks all faculty and staff receive bias and anti-racism training. Carmen met with administrators to speak on behalf of students, but doesn't feel their voices were taken seriously.
The university works for the university. They made that pretty much very clear to us. They don't hold what students have to say in the highest regard.
I reached out to university leaders to find out whether they plan to take the students' voices into consideration and their response to student accusations of systematic racism on campus. A spokesperson didn't answer my questions and referred me to a statement on social media that says in part, they respect and are sorry for the pain that this word in any form causes, and says they're taking steps to advance understanding in and out of the classroom. Carmen says while she and other students feel disappointment, they're not defeated. They plan to continue pushing for change to empower students.
The statement from the university also says the professor will receive immediate training on how to improve her presentation on potentially painful topics. Another professor will step in and teach her classes for the next 2 weeks. I'm Jackie Del Pilar with Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
In the path forward, COVID-19 numbers are improving across our state, but there is still a long way to go. Now we are comparing counties with and without mask mandates across the volunteer state to see what kind of difference this could be having on those numbers. Fox 17 News' Kathleen Jacob took that data to county leaders and is here now to tell us what they have to say.
It's hard to compare these counties when you're looking at the active case rate. So we're looking at percent positivity rate and the average daily case rate per 100,000 people. Now, when you look at counties who may have had a mask mandate in the past or currently, we've got Sumner, Wilson, Rutherford, comparing that to 3 counties who have never had a mask mandate, Cheatham, Dixon, and Murray. Take a look. A lot of numbers and a lot of factors at play here to see how each county is handling the virus. When you look at 3 counties with a mask mandate, Wilson, Sumner, and Rutherford, their percent positivity rate isn't very far off from these 3 counties without, Murray, Dixon, and Cheatham. But where we see the difference, daily case rates per 100,000 people. While the 3 masked-up counties sit between 36 and 40 cases per day, those without mask mandates are at 40, 51, and 56.
This is Kathleen Jacob.
We reached out to the mayors of these counties without mandates to see if this data impacts their decision on a mask mandate. The only one who agreed to speak with us is Murray County Mayor Andy Ogles. When you see that your case rate is still higher than some of these counties that do have mask mandates in place, does it give you any pause to consider mandating?
Not at all, because really you've got to be careful which data that you compare. So for example, yesterday, Rutherford County, who has a mask mandate, they had 167 new cases. Well, but when you look at the population, they're roughly 3 times the size as Murray County. So they had 167 new cases. We had 52 new cases.
He says you can't compare these counties apples to apples.
It wouldn't be fair. Not only do they have totally different demographics, you have totally different commute patterns, but you also have the population is not even remotely close.
We're looking at percentage of the population instead of, actual population size, and daily case rate is also per 100,000 people. In the end, he says it's up to the people to make the right decisions.
It comes down back to personal responsibility. Williamson County's had a mask mandate as long or longer than Rutherford County, and yet their spread rate is higher. We're all seeing that downward trend. Our spread rates, our transmission rate, we're all trending well and trending together. So, the spread rate here in Murray County is 0.94. You want to be less than 0.99.
A factor he says is key to look at when making decisions.
Vanderbilt also put out a study last fall that showed counties without mask mandates actually had a higher death rate. If you'd like to look at that, we have a link on our website, fox17.com.